That is the perfect segue. We get to now hear from some key leaders around the state. Thank you both. That was awesome. There are some very interesting infrastructure projects around the state that are ready to go and could be really catalytic for their communities. And we're going to get to hear briefly about a few of them. And we're going to start with my new friend that I met last night, Senator Bill Hansel from Athena, Oregon, across the space.
What are you doing?
Excellent.
Man, I'm about ready to begin, and my president of the Senate's up here giving me a bad time. Hi, I'm Senator Bill Hansel. I'm here because of the importance of developing a sustainable water supply for Oregon's economy. As Senator of District 29, it is my honor to invite you to join me in our breakout session where we will highlight two regions in our state where we believe we are going to expand and/or develop new water supplies for economic and environmental benefits. In addition, we will provide a view from the governor's office on a vision for a statewide water development program. On the screen, you can see what we have done in Umatilla and Morrow counties in building a value-added agricultural economy that generates billions of dollars in business activity for Oregon every year. We hope you can join us as we discuss, number one, what additional infrastructure will create in job growth and economic development for the state. Secondly, what value-added agriculture from the region adds to the state's economy. How we can access water in a way that is mutually beneficial to our present and for future generations. And lastly, the private-public partnerships and financial mechanisms that will move these projects forward. And now please turn your attention to the other side of the room, for it is my honor to introduce my good friend and colleague, State Representative Katty McEwen of Coos Bay. Katty.
Thank you, Senator Hansel. I represent House District 9 down on the South Coast. We have a little quiet project that's been in the works down there for a while. I was first introduced to this project early in 2004, actually 11 years ago this month when I was sworn in as a port commissioner for the Port of Coos Bay. I knew then that this project could have a dramatic positive impact on the South Coast and across the state of Oregon and the region. Fast forward from that time, 11 years to the present, and this project is in the final stages of permitting, with construction slated to begin late this year. In Coos Bay and North Bend, the terminal and the power plant's construction will take more than 4 years to complete, will employ a workforce averaging 930 workers, with 2,100 at peak construction. Along the pipeline route, an average of 800 workers will be employed during the construction, which will go from the coast down to Malin in Klamath County. Once complete, the terminal and power plant will fully employ 150 people with an average wage of $80,000 per year. And in my community, that's a very important number. Jordan Cove will also locally fund another 50 full-time jobs, ranging from tractor tug crews to sheriff's deputies. The increase in supply of natural gas that this project will bring to Oregon will also provide great economic recruitment opportunities for the Klamath Falls area, Jackson County, and the Roseburg area. All in all, factoring in the indirect and induced jobs forecast by Eco Northwest, this project is going to create an estimated 380 permanent jobs across the region. It will also produce tens of millions of dollars in revenue every year to counties who are sorely in need of that revenue: Coos, Douglas, Jackson, and Klamath counties. In my neck of the woods, where we've been in the grips of recession and dealing with issues of poverty for 30 years, that's really something. I want to thank the Jordan Cove team, not only for their investment over 11 years, but for their perseverance and their professionalism. They've engaged in our community. They've listened to what we've had to say, they've addressed our concerns, and taken our suggestions very seriously. This almost $7 billion of private investment, I'm going to say that one more time, $7 billion of private investment is a once-in-a-generation opportunity that can turn the tide of a struggling South Coast economy. It's time to finish the permitting process and get this project under construction. I invite you to come to the coast. Come to the South Coast, the proud home of Coach Mark Helfrich. Once a pirate, always a pirate. Together, maybe we can turn the tide of this economy that we've been struggling with for many years. And go Ducks! It's now my pleasure and my honor to turn your attention to the other side of the room one more time, to my Coastal Caucus colleague and a woman who truly in this crowd needs no introduction, my good friend and your senator from up in this part of the neck of the woods, Senator Betsy Johnson.
Thank you. I represent Senate District 16 that includes portions of the working waterfront. The Portland Harbor of the Willamette River, downstream from the Broadway Bridge, is home to more than 800 businesses, directly employing more than 23,000 people. A total of 53,000 jobs are dependent on the economic activity in the harbor. The harbor is an historic and vital piece of Oregon's trade infrastructure. Past practices have also resulted in contamination levels that must be addressed. The Federal Environmental Protection Agency designated the Portland Harbor as a Superfund site in 2000. The Lower Willamette Group, comprised of 12 businesses plus the City of Portland and the Port of Portland, was formed in 2001 and signed an agreement with the EPA to conduct studies necessary to create a cleanup plan. In 2012, the Lower Willamette Group's draft feasibility study provided cleanup alternatives ranging from roughly $200 million to nearly $1.8 billion. Several $100 million have already been spent by the Lower Willamette Group and its members on technical studies and reports. EPA's latest projections anticipate an issuance of a proposed cleanup plan in 2016 and a record of decision in 2017. The record of decision will provide the final remedy selection. As the EPA moves towards conclusions, it's essential that the state of Oregon step up to assure the cleanup plan is in the best interest of Oregonians, that it is protective of human health and the environment, as well as cost-effective and affordable. Governor Kitzhaber has demonstrated strong, effective leadership in bringing an Oregon voice to federal decision-making on issues that are critical to Oregon's environment and to our economy. The Portland Harbor is both of those. Now is the time for the state to work with all stakeholders to develop and advocate for solutions that will enable the continued viability of the Portland Harbor. The sooner the cleanup can happen, the sooner we can maximize the full economic development potential of our working waterfront. Now across the room, please welcome my House colleague, Representative Cliff Bentz.
Thank you, Senator. So, 5 school teachers. The presentation that I hope you're looking at right now will pay for 5 school teachers and has paid for 5 school teachers each year. What is it? It's the diatomaceous earth mine just outside of Druzy, Oregon, my hometown. And just because some of you may not know where Druzy is, I put it on this map, and you'll see that the mine is located some 50 or 60 miles from the plant that processes the diatomaceous earth. The products you saw earlier are from that mine site. This is a modest ask. We need a road from the highway into the mine. The one that's there is wearing out. It's going to cost about $7 million to repair it. A modest ask, but it means 114 retained jobs and a royalty paid to the state each year of over $500,000. Taxes of $600,000 a year, and it keeps our short line railroad that runs from the main line near Ontario out past Vail open. That's a huge thing for a small rural community. And it also opens the door to the possibility of yet another 50 jobs when EP Minerals decides to expand. You're looking now at a pothole. I know that those of you from Portland actually recognize what that is. This is a really bad picture. There are far more potholes than you're looking at on this road, but it was covered with snow when I sent my brother, who lives in Ventura, up to take photos. I should have put the picture of him standing looking for a pothole. They're all filled with ice at this particular point. Folks, this is a big deal to my little community, my little county, and it's the kind of thing that inures to the benefit of the entire state. I very much hope that during this legislative session, we'll be able to find partners for those that are so interested in this plant for the future of Malheur County. Thank you so much. And with that, I want to introduce, it's my honor to introduce Representative John Davis from the metropolis of Wilsonville.
Thank you, Representative Ben. So I want to talk to you guys today about sitting in traffic. And we could talk about I-5, 217. The speaker asked that I mention Highway 30. And as the speaker, I will mention what she wants me to. But right now, I want to talk to you about a piece of highway in Oregon that we often don't think of, which is I-205, a 6-mile stretch between the Stafford exit and the Abernathy Bridge. 205, which carries more traffic per day than I-5 through the Portland metro area, averaging approximately 160,000 cars. We're talking about the last 6-mile stretch of 2-lane 205 in the metro area. It's a 6-mile problem, and it's a solution that could solve 12 miles of potential congestion, because as those 6 miles are congested, it spreads north, it spreads south. This is a vital corridor for both travel and freight through the metro area, for goods coming south to get to the Portland International Airport, for goods coming from the north to the south to get through the metro area as an alternate route. Roughly 10% of the average daily traffic in this corridor is freight. That's about 16,000 trucks a day trying to get goods and services to market. It provides a primary access point to the Portland International Airport, and as we all know, when freight sits idle, the price of goods rises with the additional fuel costs and labor costs. So Metro's recent urban growth report indicates that there's also going to be significant buildable UGB land in the areas surrounding this 6-mile corridor. So it's important not only for the immediate congestion relief that it could provide, but also for long-term planning in the metro area, housing, jobs, industrial lands. This has been identified as a bottleneck by ODOT's Corridor Bottleneck Operations Study, and also now recently has been put on the Federal Highway Administration projects of national and regional significance. It also has significant cost involved. Because it involves widening the Abernathy Bridge, it is not simply adding a 3rd lane for 6 miles to 205. Total costs look upwards of $260 million to both widen the freeway and widen the Abernathy Bridge. But a first step we can take is planning at a cost of $10 to $20 million, and we can get started with that in 2015 with the legislative session. As you think about congestion, I'm excited to point your attention to the cost of congestion study that is in your packet and the next piece of discussion that we're going to have in this panel. Thank you very much.